Hello everyone, welcome back to the Toy Corner, where today we have six, one is hiding, new Masterverse to add to the collection. Masterverse is a series that I'm at least going to try to collect all of. I don't know, some of those San Diego Comic-Con exclusives are a little hard to get a hold of sometimes. But that's a problem for future Fed. For now, let's go ahead and dig into our new Masterverse. Since he's already trying to come out of his box, who am I to deny him? So we're going to first start off with Roboto. We have some lovely artwork on the side and on the back to appreciate, and of course, the ever-present blurb. But if you've been here for any amount of time, you know how I feel about boxes. Let's get rid of it. Unsurprisingly, he came right out of the package, and he has a lot of nice metallic blue and orange to him. I'm also enjoying the silver here. It's just, this is a very aesthetically pleasing character. There's a little paint dot there. I'll see if there's something that I can do about that later. Joints are just a little bit stiff out of the box, but I think just working them over and over again should help to loosen them right up. If you take a look at his chest, it's actually a nice clear plastic. You can see right through on into his insides. I guess this is supposed to be his core, his robotic heart. I'm not sure what you would call it. His mouth plate is articulated, so you can move it, maybe make him talk a little bit. They have a few accessories, no additional hands, but he does come with the two halves of the power sword. They look like they're heated up and ready to be forged back together. He comes with an arm cannon attachment, reminiscent of Mega Man. The joint for that is unfortunately a bit stiff in this case. I might try to sand that down a little. And a second gun attachment, just for a different look, or perhaps it's what the old Roboto used to have in the 80s. I'm not sure. If you're new here, I didn't grow up with He-Man. The Revelation is my first He-Man. Overall, I'm happy to add Roboto to my collection. However, I do wish that his joints weren't quite as stiff, and I do wish this came off just a bit easier. My fingers are already starting to hurt. And next up, we have New Eternia Beastman, our first deluxe figure. Box is in a little bit beat up condition, but when you like to open your toys like me, that's hardly a problem. As usual, we have the artwork on the back and the side, and the blurb if you're feeling up for a read. But the fun is inside the box, so let's get it open. Fresh out of the package, and I am just losing it over the details. All the spikes and little bits of fur everywhere just make this character look amazing. Look at this beast. There's a wash on the fur. We'll get a better look at that later. The only thing thus far that I've had any issue with would be the hat. I don't know what it is with Masters of the Universe and not making hats that stick onto their characters very well, but I guess if you're just going to pose him or have him stable and not moving on your shelf, that's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It bothers me a little. I've never been a big fan of open mouths that can't be closed, just roaring faces. I guess that for Beastman it works out. It doesn't look bad or anything, but I've always sort of enjoyed for a character, especially for a new look, where you can't swap out the head for another Beastman head, is just to have a more of a neutral or an angry glare, something like that. But it's not to say that it's bad. The sculpting on it is great. The details, the wash gives it, the paint, the white and the blue and the orange all work really well for it. Just a personal preference. Fresh out of the box, we have the open hand and the clenched fist, and those can be swapped out for two gripping hands. He has a large spiked club, which is just as painful as it looks, and of course his signature whip. The only other accessory that he comes with is this alternate armor piece, which will allow you to give him more of that classic Beastman look, sort of like he had in the Origins line. And interestingly enough, the fur is actually attached to this piece. You can't take it apart, or if you can, it does look like it's a little bit complicated, and I don't think I'm going to try. Though personally, I much prefer this look, which is how I'll be displaying him. Although before I finish up this, I do have to say I'm not a big fan of how loose this joint is. It really shouldn't wiggle like that. Makes it hard to stand on. Next up is Revelation Tila, sporting her classic look that she had from the flashbacks. We have artwork on the side, artwork on the back, and the artwork has 2 different hairstyles, much like the figure. But let's go ahead and get her opened up. Okay, now that we've gotten rid of that pesky box, we can really take a look at her details, front, side, back, everything. I really love the way this figure looks, honestly. The costume, the red hair with the white and the gold, just it really seems to pop, and of course you have those dark brown furred boots, just to bring it all together somehow. Let's take just a little bit closer look at that lovely 80s style do she's rocking. Of course the golden tiara just pulls it all together, makes it look amazing. An interesting thing, it looks like they made her pants sort of a yellowish color. I guess this is to stop people from thinking that they can see her underwear. It's pants, it's part of the costume. Also, underwear should not be inherently sexual, it should be fun. Come on, people. Weapon accessories are a sword and shield, which I do like the design, the different colored handle grip to the hilt itself. And of course a nice golden shield just to go along with the white and gold motif. Straight out of the box she has her gripping hand for her sword and of course the open hand for her shield. And she also includes a second gripping hand, as well as a fist for teaching that lazy Prince Adam how to throw a proper punch. For her alternate head, she has let down her hair much like she was let down by He-Man, keeping the secret of Prince Adam and He-Man being the same person. You can see she sort of has a bit of a scowl on her face. She's not happy. Perhaps that could also be a battle look. But I really like the detail of this hair. It's very wavy. There's a bit of a wash on it to really make the strands pop out. And it's just got a nice bumpy texture to it that just really gives it that sort of that angry, wild flair. I quite enjoy this. For display purposes, I'm most likely going to keep her with her hair down. I just prefer that look. The other one is nice, but I like her battle glare there more so than her somewhat relaxed, smiling face. Both are good options, but I think, again, for display purposes, we're going to go with this look. And for just an idea of how somewhat smaller she is, here she is next to He-Man and Roboto, and you can see she's just about up to He-Man's shoulder. But Roboto's turn is done, and this isn't He-Man's review, so let's get Tila on the shelf. Bolstering up our villains, we have New Eternia Too Bad. Have some nice artwork on the side. We have some nice artwork on the back, and we do have a blurb up here if you should care to read it. I don't move it closer to the camera because it's going to get all blurry here, see. There you go. Window box, packaging, blah blah, let's get it open. And here's Too Bad out of the package. We have our Tuvar and our Badra, although I don't know which is which. I would assume this is Badra because Bat knows, I don't know. Tuvar because blue Var, sure, why not? With purple side and blue side, whichever one is whichever, they are quite an interesting pair, forever fused together. We have some nice weapon storage on this figure. Looks like on the back we can store something, one of the handled weapons, and we do have a little side pouch here. I believe that's for the gun that came with him, but we'll look at that in just a moment. You can see the clasp here, the chest armor is removable, the gun holster belt is removable, and of course this arm piece here is removable, although I'm not going to bother to do any of that because this one really wouldn't have anyone that he could switch armors with. The detailing really stands out with this figure. They have all the individual scales that just give this amazing look, a bit of a wash in certain places. Over here you have sort of this this musculature that's just stranded. I'm not sure what you would call that, but it just has a great texture for both characters. Out of the box we have the two grippy hands, and those can be swapped out for two fists that unfortunately do not have the articulation to punch each other's head like the classic vintage toy did. We get a nice shield and the gun for his holster. A mace for each hand, which is probably how I'm going to display the figure. And also this axe, which proves such a challenge to try to get into his hand, it begins stripping the paint off of the handle. So yeah, we're probably not going to put this in this hand. This hand is really hard to work with. This one wasn't so bad. This one is a nightmare. I'm not sure if it's that silvery plastic that's just making it more stiff, but Yeah, I don't know. I'm probably gonna leave that in there and never take it out. But of course, we still do have options for storing the axe even still, so there you go. Just to give you an idea for scale, you can see he is much taller than Roboto there. And Roboto, you just can't seem to stay out of other people's segments. Come on now. I do really enjoy this character. I will say that I wish that it wasn't so difficult to take the weapons in and out. Otherwise, it's great. I love the masks. I love the opposing colors. It'll be a great addition to the shelf and a lovely addition to the collection. And the penultimate figure, Revelation Man-at-Arms. You know, when I first started collecting this series after watching the show, this Man-at-Arms, this particular version, became somewhat of a wish list item for me. That and an untransformed Prince Adam. And hey, look at that, I got my wish. Of course, when you take into account how many different versions of each character that Mattel generally puts out, it was sort of a no-brainer that this would be a character, but I'm still very happy about it. We have our side art, we have our back art, we have our blurb, and now we have a box that needs open. So out of the box, you see that he has a lovely cloth goods cape, which I believe has a sort of a felt material. It's very nice. There's a bit of a hood, sort of better for having the hood pulled back, I think, if you fold it correctly. There it is. And there are just a lot of nice little details to that effect. I love how muscular he is, showing that he never actually stopped working out or keeping himself in shape for the day that he would be needed. I will say the name was a bit of a misstep. If you've seen the series, you know at this point he is not the Man-at-Arms, so his name shouldn't have been Man-at-Arms. It actually should have been Duncan X Man-at-Arms, or Duncan, Protector of the People, something like that. The man Duncan comes with some punching fists, and of course, some of the grippies. His cloak and neckerchief, I guess, are removable, giving you that armor that you can swap between different characters. He has a nice arm-mounted blaster, as well as a cannon that slings over the shoulder. And he has an entire set of armor letting us know that even though he may have lost his title, he never lost his spirit as the Man-at-Arms. And not only is that armor gorgeous and it has all the right little bulks and bits to go around, it gives you that sort of Man-at-Arms feel, but it also has a lovely hidden little weapon up here. You just open up these panels, and there. There's a little hidden gun missile launcher thing right there. And of course you can always mix and match pieces just to get your favorite look. If you have this figure, let me know. How are you going to be displaying him? What pieces will you use? What pieces will you not use? I'm not quite sure how I'll display him. I'll have to give you an update of the toy shelf and how everything's displayed in a later video. For now, I'll be taking the armor off for a little father-daughter bonding dance time. Oops. Far and away, my favorite character in Revelation was Evil Lynn. I loved her arc, I loved the different outfits she got. In fact, this character would have been at the top of my list, in this form, in her sorcerer's form, would have been at the top of my wish list had she not been announced just a little bit before I made it. I've been waiting to get my hands on this figure for a long time, so let's just take that quick little look at the side artwork and the back artwork and the blurb and the back artwork again, because that is, I want that as a poster. Can I get that as a poster? I would like that as a poster. Alright, enough in package. And there we are, she is out of the box, our Evil Lynn, in her sorceress attire, when Skeletor becomes Skelegod and takes over Castle Grayskull. Evil Lynn takes over the sorceress's job. Sort of, kind of. Watch the show if you haven't. It's a good show. There's not very many accessory options. We will get into what she comes with later, but I will tell you that the cape here, this blue piece, and her head, all one piece. Everything is just one large piece. None of them can separate, and that's fine. I mean, the figure looks the best altogether, so I can't imagine why you would want to take anything off. I mean, that's all you're really missing is there's a little little black flap here and a little black flap here. That's all you're missing. And I believe these areas here are supposed to be sort of a sheer, sort of a see-through, but I'm not sure if that's just a pattern or... But, I don't know. Either way, it's a very impressive looking outfit, and I've always loved the bat motif that she had going on when she took over as a sorceress, because of course she's not going to be bird. She's not bird-like. Out of the box, these here were not looped in on her arms. I think they did that just so they wouldn't get damaged in the shipping. I do like that they have those loops there. To get them on, I did have to take her head off and her hands off to sort of maneuver them. It's just so I had enough room to move them, because otherwise, I mean, if this is stuck here, I'm not going to get this loop all the way over this wrist. It's not happening. Her hands out of the box are one grippy hand and one sort of open spellcasting, sort of relaxed hand, whatever you'd like it to be. And her alternate hand just sort of changed that around. Now this hand is grippy and this one's sort of open, relaxed, or spellcasting. And her only real accessory is her scepter, magic wand, whatever you would want to call that. Just keep in mind, if you do want her to have a pose where she is looking at you, you're going to have to turn her waist, because this head being all one piece, you're not really getting any articulation out of the head. There's not really any up, down, left, right. It's all going to be in the waist. Light on the accessories or not, I love the way that this Evelyn looks, and can't wait for all the wonderful posing opportunities I'm going to get. Sorry, Skeletor, you are not the top dog anymore. And there we have 6 wonderful new additions to the toy shelf. They have their ups, they have their downs, but what a colorful cast of characters. I absolutely love each and every one. There is, of course, a clear favorite, although which one that is, I will leave up to your imagination. But which of these figures did you like? Which was your favorite? Are you adding any to your collection? I would love to know. But thank you again for taking this next step in my journey as a toy collector. Be sure to take care of yourself, take care of each other, simply take care.